In the exact same fight, you were a victim of your circumstances, and they were just being who they are. You snapped at your partner after a brutal day at work, and in your head that's obviously why the boss chewed you out. The commute was a disaster. You were running on 4 hours of sleep. But when they snapped at you last week over something just as small, you didn't think rough day. You thought they are so inconsiderate, full stop, case closed. You forgot to text back because your phone died in your bag, completely reasonable, anyone would understand. When they went quiet for an hour, you didn't assume a dead battery. You decided they were pulling away, maybe losing interest, maybe hiding something. You were late because traffic backed up for 3 miles on the highway. When they were late, you decided they just don't respect your time, plain and simple. Same behavior, two completely different verdicts, depending entirely on who's in the driver's seat of the story. This gap has a name, the actor-observer bias, identified by social psychologists Edward Jones and Richard Nisbett back in 1971. In 1973, Nisbett ran a deceptively simple experiment with college students. He asked them why they chose their major, why they liked their girlfriend, and why they were majoring in what they'd picked, and then asked them to explain the exact same categories of decisions for their roommate. When explaining themselves, students reached for situational, practical reasons. I'm good with numbers, so I picked accounting. She's easy to talk to, that's why I like her. But when explaining their roommate's identical decisions, they suddenly reached for character traits instead. He's a numbers person. He needs someone warm and supportive. Same choices, same categories, same students doing the explaining, but the story flipped depending on whose life it was. Nisbett found this pattern held up again and again. Whether he asked about romantic partners, career paths, or something as mundane as why someone picked a particular class. Have you ever explained your own bad mood as "I'm just tired, I didn't sleep well," while explaining your partner's identical bad mood as "they're just moody, that's just how they are"? Then in 1979, psychologists Ross and Sicoly asked married couples a simple question. What percentage of the housework, the childcare, the decision-making, even the arguing itself do you personally handle? When they added up husband and wife's answers for the exact same categories, who does the dishes, who handles the bills, who initiates conflict, the totals routinely blew past 100%. Sometimes they hit 130, even 140% for something as basic as keeping the house clean, meaning both partners were sincerely convinced they were doing the lion's share of the same job. Neither spouse was lying, and neither was being dramatic. Each one could vividly recall the 10 times they took out the trash, scrubbed the counters, or picked the kids up from school. Those moments were burned into memory because they lived them from the inside. But their partner's contributions weren't stored with that same weight. Watching someone else fold laundry just doesn't imprint the same way as doing it yourself. So those moments felt smaller, rarer, or just quietly vanished from the tally. Have you ever been in a fight about who does more around the house? Both of you completely, genuinely convinced you're the one being taken advantage of, waving around your own mental spreadsheet like it's an airtight case? Here's why your brain runs this program in the first place. When you act, you're facing outward. You feel the exhaustion in your shoulders. You remember the argument with your boss from an hour earlier. All of that context is loaded and available right there in your head. But when you watch someone else act, none of that internal footage is visible to you. All you get is the behavior itself. The slammed door, the short text, the raised voice, and behavior is the loudest, most available thing sitting right in front of you. So your brain locks onto it and writes a quick story about their character instead of their circumstances. Psychologists call this differential perceptual salience. Basically, your own reasons are lit up in neon, and theirs are sitting in the dark. For most of human history, this shortcut worked fine. Snap judging a stranger's behavior as a signal of trustworthiness mattered a lot more than pausing to imagine their entire backstory before deciding whether to trust them with your food or your family. But your partner isn't a stranger you need to size up in 3 seconds across a campfire. They are someone whose circumstances you actually have access to, someone you could just ask. The shortcut simply never got the memo to turn itself off once the stranger became the person you sleep next to every night. So here's the 2-second gut check to run mid-argument. Right when it's happening, not after. The moment you feel the words, "they always do this," or "they're so insert trait" forming in your head, stop and ask yourself one specific question instead. What's the most exhausting, complicated thing that could have happened to them in the last hour that I don't actually know about? You don't need the real answer, and you don't even need to be right. Just forcing your brain to search for a situational explanation, the same automatic courtesy it extends to you every single time, interrupts the character-blaming reflex before it hardens into the whole fight. So tell us about a fight you were completely sure you were the reasonable one in, and only later realized you'd been the villain of their story the entire time. Or tag the person you know who does this constantly. Always a perfect, airtight excuse ready for themselves, and a full character diagnosis ready for everyone else.